Hi, Chris. Just wanted to talk to you. I'm over here straight to your left, sort of.
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about Vanderlei and the legend, because you've seemed to show so much respect for him and almost like you're an eye him. And obviously you've accomplished a lot in the sport too, but kind of going back to what. But I just wonder if you can kind of comment on why you've gotten the respect for him that you have, and sort of how you view him.
Well, Vanderlei's been in the sport forever. He's the longest reigning champion prior to UFC history. When I first started fighting, I was watching Vanderlei, and in some ways, attempting to emulate some of the stuff that he did. The guy's been in dozens of, legendary wars. He's, there's you can't go into a 7-Eleven without seeing him right next to those little Zions thing. He's everywhere. He's huge. So, it's a real honor for me to be able to fight him. In particular, because I really enjoy watching him fight. I really enjoy his style. One of my feelings is, we're not just athletes, we're entertainers. And when the fans pay for a seat or pay for a pay-per-view, you want to give them a show. Vanderlei always brings a show, and I'd like to think that that's the same story with me. So, besides the fact I think we're a shoo-in for the fight of the night, I think it's going to be, win, lose, or draw, it's going to be a great show.
Looking at the event itself, do you have any concern coming off knockouts, the fact that now you're going to be in a toe-to-toe fight? Does that, they say once you're champ and one of your biggest assets, ever, and now is that a concern mentally?
I don't mean to cut you off, sorry, but this is my 19th fight in the UFC. I've won some, I've lost some, I'm past that, I'm not... I learned a lot from that. As always, win, lose, or draw, I go back and I look at a fight and I go, what did I do right? What worked well? What didn't work? And where did I really fuck up? Screw up. I'm sorry. That's the case with the Brian Stan fight. Water under the bridge. My opponent now is Vanderlei Silva. I had a great year before that. I'm not the kind of guy that goes, you fall off the horse. What do? You get back on, right? So, what better way than to fight Vanderlei?
Well, last question then. If you look back at that fight, how do you evaluate what mistake did you make? Because that was kind of like your type of fight. You would think.
You would think so, yeah. Well, I don't want to take anything away from Brian Stan. He's an amazing athlete, and he's done a ton for the country and the sport. I ate a bunch of candy, dude. I'm not lying. I didn't eat sugar for like 2 months. And then after I made weight, I went and I bought gummy bears and jawbreakers and ice cream, and I ate that. And my body hadn't had sugar, so I was backstage. I was puking. I was shitting and puking between my legs when I was on deck for that fight. That's not a lie. That's the truth. And I'll be honest with you, Brian Stan fought an amazing fight, but, hindsight's 20/20. No gummy bears for me this fight.
Chris, the middleweight division seeing a lot of influx in the top 10. Vanderlei Silva, yourself, you're up there, you're not up there. What does a victory over Vanderlei Silva mean for you, especially in the title hunt?
Well, it's like that's all we hear about nowadays. Everybody goes, I want that belt, I want that strap, I want that, Bro, that's just a superficial object. Don't get me wrong, I want it. But that's, that's just that, there's any given Sunday. There's somebody that's not in the UFC that is better than me that will beat me right now. I guarantee that. There's a lot of people in this world. Where I'm at in my career, I just want to have epic fights. I want to have fights that are going to go down in the history books, I want to put on a show. I want people to think, hey, Chris Leben's on this card. I'm buying that pay-per-view, And when my career's over, I want people to be able to go, you had one of the most amazing careers. Your career is literally a highlight reel. That's what I want, So right now with where I'm at, I want to go out and, fight the best fights, fight the most exciting fights, put fans in seats, bring attention to the sport.
On the surface, this is a fight that as soon as the referee steps out of the way, you two guys are going to be gunslinging. But realistically, this fight could hit the ground, and both you guys are very talented on the ground. How do you break down the ground fight versus a guy like Vanderlei Silva?
Well, Vanderlei Silva is kind of in the same shoes as me. See, Vanderlei Silva is good on the ground, but you can't showcase your ground skills if you hit somebody and then they fall down. They don't get up, So a lot of people kind of, I believe, underestimate his skills on the ground. He's a black belt. I started wrestling and grappling before I ever started striking, and I continue to work at it every single day. And I think that all my coaches always say, Chris, why don't you go out there and take that guy down? You're amazing on the ground. But for some reason it doesn't seem to happen that way once they hit me in the face. But yeah, once it goes to the ground, honestly, I'd love for this fight to go to the ground. I want to see where he's at. I'd like to punch and elbow him on the ground, punch and elbow him on our feet. I'll take it wherever it needs to go. I'll put him on his back if I got to. The acceleration, how much it's changed. And, I continue, my coach Burton Richardson, he's coming in every day saying, oh, this is what they did in Abu Dhabi. This is what Pacquiao did in his fight. This is what the best guys, the best level are working. And, that's what I've really changed. I'm really a student of the game now.
Chris, how many more fights would you like to have? What's your long-term goals other than a title?
Well, I mean, truthfully, my passion is coaching. I have a gym in Hawaii, and I've got a great team. I've got amateurs and pros that fight. Not to mention, tons of just regular members. Anywhere from the ages of 12 years old to 60 that come in my gym. And I don't really see myself doing anything else but just coaching and training. Even when I'm not competing, I like to inspire. I like to see the kids. The high school kids that come into my gym lose 40, 50, 60 pounds, and all of a sudden they get some self-respect, they get a girlfriend, now they don't have to act out because guess what? They're not trying to prove themselves to themselves because they're confident now, So I've seen the sport change, one, me, myself, and two, so many other people that have walked through the doors of the gyms that I've trained at that I can't see myself having the desire to really do anything else. I mean, as far as benefiting people on an individual level, MMA is amazing.
So in terms of age or number of fights, as long as you can produce, you'll do it.
As far as fighting now, when I first started fighting, I got to say, fighters are like strippers. They're not paying their way through college. What I mean by that, maybe daddy ripped up the teddy bear, but there's a real reason there, and you know it. Every fighter, no normal person goes, hey, I want to get in the cage in front of my family and friends and have somebody potentially beat the crap out of me. There's a reason they're doing that, and that was the case with me when I was on the show. That was the case with me when I first started in the sport. But, it's not to prove to everybody else they're tough. It's to prove to themselves they're tough. That's why everybody originally starts in this sport. Now, my motivations have changed now. My goal is I want people to go, well, if Chris can do it, I got to be able to do it, I want to be able to inspire and motivate. So that's really my goal now.
Chris, you kind of talked about the evolution of the sport. I wonder, do you see you and Vanderlei as almost kind of a dying breed that does care more about entertainment than necessarily winning?
Yes, I do. That's why I want to fight him so much, It's, I want to see guys fight to win, not fight not to lose. I would rather have 5 great fights than have had the title for 5 fights that sucked, but I won the belt at the end of every one.
You had referenced Pacquiao and learning from different things, Abu Dhabi, Pacquiao. Pacquiao referenced at his last fight that he idolizes Bruce Lee and tried to emulate Bruce Lee. So do you think in the combat sports there's sort of this esprit de corps where everybody's kind of in a circle learning?
Well, I think probably on the level of when you're looking at the evolvers of the sport, people that change the sport, people that challenge the direction of the sport, obviously Bruce Lee was an innovator, obviously, he was doing different things. Pacquiao, I think the way I think he's an innovator. He's doing different things, he's changing the game. And, I think that it doesn't matter, but yeah, in any combat sport, what really should interest us are the people that are continuing to progress, are the people that are continuing to push the envelope, to push the limits, and to change and do different things.
And last question, when Vanderlei fought Chuck, there was all this talk of, the shootout, and it's similar to what your fight's going to be. And Chuck added in, every round a takedown, and that fight ended up not being a knockout, but Chuck won the fight. Could you see yourself just changing the fight up? Just for the fact to win a decision, as opposed to saying, screw it, I want to go for the knockout?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I want an exciting fight, but that doesn't mean I have to go balls to the wall. Like I said, I learned that with with Anderson Silva. I can't swing wide open. I still got to cover every once in a while, you know? And bottom line is, this is not boxing. This is mixed martial arts. If I got to put him on his back, I'll put him on his back. If he takes me down, I'm going to work my bottom game. We saw that with Akiyama. You know, I'm going to fight wherever we got to fight at. All right, thank you.